Hi, welcome back to Nessa's Nook. My brother-in-law had come over yesterday, and I keep telling you guys I have this very favorite food processor attachment for my Kitchenaid. Excuse the mess, I was making a whole bunch of videos, but what it is actually my Kitchenaid stand mixer, okay? Then there is this attachment, and I'll show you about that. Now, one thing about the 13 cup versus my 9 cup and versus this, the 13 cup, everything goes inside and it tucks in there, and then you don't have these extra boxes of accessories. However, I understand it's almost impossible to put everything in that. So this actually comes with a shredder attachment. It comes with a slicer attachment. It comes with a French fry attachment. However, I don't use usually any of those. And it also has this when you're using the shredding or the slicing or anything like that. So, anyways, what I was telling my brother-in-law is the reason why I love this one the most, and you'll see I have my onion video and I have my potato cutting video that I use this, okay? So what happens is you have like this, okay? And this comes apart like this, and this actually does come out right here too. So you have this part here, and what you do is you put it in that spot that's only meant for that, okay? Now obviously there's spots and slots like here and here, and you'll see on the dicer blade it's got two little lips. I'm hanging on to one and there's another one. But what you have to realize is the dicing blade, well, if you put it in that little spot, goes right over top of the hole to come down. Then what they have is they have like this little whirligig, and you just put this down here so you can see. You put this just on there, and then what's happening is when the food gets put through there, then it just slices it, or dices it, excuse me. Then there's a little, let me see if I can go even lower. There's a little thing just like the 13 cup, just like the 9 cup. You have to make sure this is tucked in there in order for this to work. Now on the Kitchenaid stand mixer, you'll see this little notch over here, okay? You'll see this little notch right there. So what happens is when you go to put this on, you have to match up that little notch with a notch. Yeah, I don't know for sure if you heard that snap. And on here is like a tighten up screw. And then all you have to do, and as I say on my other ones, all the Kitchenaids, and this is one of the reasons why I like Kitchenaid versus the other ones, all the Kitchenaid ones actually have this small to large slices. So if you want something really small or if you want something really big, you just adjust that. Now, by any means, I'm not affiliated with QVC at all. I forgot to put that on my last video. A lot of times if you go on QVC, because they're trying to show you things, they actually have videos of whatever they're trying to sell. And it actually is on there, but like I said, I have 2 videos that show the dicing. This is what I only use this for once in a while. If I have a lot of shredding, I will shred, like cheese or zucchini or something to that effect. But I mainly only use it just for dicing. This one will actually give you the dices of, just imagine Taco Bell tomatoes. It's that small, it's that nicely diced. Now, the 13 cup, which I have a video for that too, that gives you more of a It's about a cube about so big, which is, it's okay if you want a bigger cube of vegetables. When it comes to onions, when it comes to, this doesn't work very well for tomatoes, by the way. It ruins the tomatoes unless you have really super hard tomatoes. But this, I like this for the vegetables because when I usually dice this before I got my freeze dryer, I actually was dehydrating a lot of the vegetables. And the bigger the vegetable, the longer it takes to actually dry. So with this, it was just easier just to throw this through. Now, it takes me longer to sit there and wash the celery, cut the ends off the celery, get the celery prepped, than it does to do like that whole big wash tub, you know, like that you soak your feet in or do dishes in or whatever. I can have that wash tub actually brimmed over within not even 5 minutes. Sometimes, even though you have this on a little bit higher speed to do like your carrots or your harder vegetables, it will, and it'll stop, okay? When it does that, you just have to take the lid off, take the spinny thing off, and what's happening is there's whatever you're chopping is like stuck, and you take that out, and then you can just put that back through, and it will re-chop it. So, like I said, this is by far my favorite Kitchenaid attachment. I do have, I was going to do that today, but time got away from me, and I did finally find it. That's why I wasn't able to make a video. But I want to remake a batch of my homemade egg noodles, and I have like an egg noodle attachment to this, and it presses out the pasta and stuff, so you're going to want to watch out for that video too. And then I actually have, there's like an apple core. It's like a package of 7 things. An apple core, it peels potatoes, it zoodles stuff and stuff like that. I have that attachment. I don't use that one as much. I mainly use that one only when we are doing apples for like applesauce or whatever have you. So definitely, if you have a food processor or if you have a Kitchenaid, these run about $200, which is very expensive. But the thing is, if you don't have a food processor or you don't want a food processor, this way you can still get, you know, your slices, your dices, your shreds, everything that you want to get done. And like I said, don't try to do it for tomatoes. That's why I bought it. I got so excited. I'm like, because I dice my tomatoes before I can them. And I'm like, oh, I can do my tomatoes. No, you can't do your tomatoes. It turns into like pretty much salsa inside this. So don't definitely do tomatoes. But you can do your potatoes, onions, carrots, celery, green peppers. I've done zucchini. I've done cabbage. I've done all sorts of vegetables. So this, like I said, the prep takes longer than this actually does to actually go ahead and do whatever. I mean, obviously, if you're just doing a night's dinner worth of vegetables, it's kind of a pain. You have to sit there and clean that or any of the food processors. That's when, hold on for a second, I will use, if I'm just doing tonight's dishes or dinner tonight, there's actually these Vidalia choppers. Now, this is the size blade that's in that 13 cup. That's not the Taco Bell tomatoes. But what happens is there's 2 different sizes that come with this. And when I want to just not make a big mess, even though this is a pain to sometimes clean, because you have to sit there and take that little brush thing and clean this, it's a little bit easier than getting this all apart, bringing out the Kitchenaid. Some people don't have a spot on their counter. This has earned it's right on my counter. I don't like to try to have a lot of things, even though you see in the background I have tons of things on my counter. Each thing that I have on my counter has earned its place on my counter, because it's either one thing that's really super heavy, or I use it like almost daily, and it'd be stupid to tuck away and have to pull out and tuck away and pull out, and that's just kind of, you know, crazy. But this does work. This works very well, and I don't know for sure if you have a KitchenAid. I would highly recommend looking into some of the attachments. I do have like a meat grinder. I haven't only used it once, but they actually have an attachment that you can do like a zucchini. So you can do like a zucchini noodle. So it comes out in one great big long strip. And like I said, definitely check out QVC. I'm not saying buy anything at QVC. I did buy that 13 cup KitchenAid's food processor there because it was actually cheaper there than it was anywhere else. And it did come with the chopping blade, which I had to have. Now I did get my sister one as her 2022 gift, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I need it, but she has used it over there, City Girl Homestead. Chris, you know, I've linked a few of her videos. And then the other one I use a lot is there is this juicer. You know, obviously, you know, you turn that on and you juice your lemons or your oranges. That works very well, and it actually collects the seeds inside this thing, so that makes it really nice. But definitely, I mean, if you have the financial ability and you can buy a KitchenAid, there is just a bunch of attachments. Now obviously I don't have all of them because, for one thing, I don't have the space. But one thing I do like about the stand mixer versus other stuff, I am a kitchen gadget person. I love kitchen gadgets. I always have. But if you can have attachments that's gonna zoodle or do the spiraling and taking the skins off apples or whatever, each thing like that takes up a big space to store it. Because like I said, I have two food processors. I have three. I have the little itsy bitsy one. I have the 9 cup, or the first one, that small one is a 3.5 cup. Then I have the 9 cup, which you'll see in another video, the pink one, and then the 13 cup. The 13 cup by far is my favorite because I love using it to dicing stuff. This attachment, like I said, is my favorite for the stand mixer. I do use my other attachments, but usually the second probably a favorite would be the pasta maker. I don't use the spaghetti one for that, but I could. I actually do have a Philips pasta maker. I've used it once. Now that I have a freeze dryer, I might want to actually reattempt. I mean, because pretty much with that Philips, you just throw everything in there, you hit a button, and then the pasta just starts shooting out eventually. But I haven't really had a chance to play with it, and I think I do have almost all the different types of noodles that I can actually make with that, which is cool. But I usually use the egg noodles. My mom used to make this oxtail and noodles, and kind of find out as an adult without a gallbladder, I don't like greasy food. I don't deep fry anything. I don't like to pan fry anything. I like to cook my meat in the Instapots, or I like to air fry or bake. Not having a gallbladder, anybody that doesn't have one is gonna know what I'm talking about. So the oxtail is like, last time I bought it was probably 7 years ago, and I finally found a place who had it, and it was like 10 something a pound, and it's pretty much all bones. Now fine, grand and dandy, if you make your own beef broth, you could throw the bones in there, but $10 a pound for bones and really greasy meat. So when my mom died, you know, you don't pre-think about this stuff. So obviously, if there are family members who make some of your favorite foods and they're still alive, video them making it or talking about it. There's so many things that I forgot to ask my mom while she was alive, how to make certain things. But I've winged it, and I just actually use roast that I cut up, and that's how I make my oxtail and noodles. But that's what I use that for, and I have maybe one more meal of the noodles to do. So what I'm gonna do is another video. I was gonna do it today, but like I said, I ran out of time and I'm not gonna be able to do that. But I'm gonna make a whole batch, a whole 5 trays, and my large is actually gonna be egg noodles. So that should last us a couple years, because I actually do use the store-bought egg noodles for regular meals, but I do use the homemade for like sometimes chicken noodle soup, sometimes mainly for the oxtail noodles. It's not oxtail, but I hope I helped you answer any questions on this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask below. Thanks for stopping by. I really enjoy having you guys here, and I'll try to get these other videos out so you can see the pasta maker. And I think one of my next ones is going to be a dry can of broccoli and cheese soup, which I'll explain. That's kind of really cool, and that did taste, my husband said it would taste really good. I can't taste anything still. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this, and like I said, if you have any questions, ask. Please like, just subscribe and share, and thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful weekend.